Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, The Afro Gardener. Today is a super windy, blustery, cold day. I don't know what's going on with the weather, but I wanted to give you guys a end of March garden tour to kind of let you see what's going on in the garden right now and give you an update on our 2-week-old chicks. Okay, let's get into it. So like I said, I'm going to be giving you guys an update on how the garden is looking right now. Now, it was really cold last night, so I did cover the beds just to give them a little bit of protection. I didn't put the plastic on. I just put the windows on just to give them a little bit of protection. But because adding the frost cloth and the plastic, it would have gotten too warm, and I knew it was going to be relatively warm today, so I didn't want to suffocate them inside the greenhouse. Well, excuse me, inside the cold frame. So I didn't put that down. But here is how this first bed looks. Y'all just take a look, okay? So we have some chamomile here, some blue curled kale. I think this is just regular kale, yeah. Here and here, they're just starting to just really flourish. You know what I'm saying? But this one is going to flower. I am going to go ahead and let it flower because I am actually out of these seeds. So I am going to go ahead and let it flower. And it looks like this one's trying to flower too. But not these. This one is not. Yeah. These are not, so I'm going to still be able to use these. And over here, I have some giant mustard greens. These are Japanese purple top mustard greens. They're doing really well. I believe that we have a small issue with some slugs. I've picked when I picked the last batch of greens out of here, I did find 3 slugs in the salt in the water that I was washing them in, and so I'm thinking that that's what's happening. That's where you see all the little holes. And so that's what this bed is looking like. Now over in this bed, go ahead and take this cloth off. Now this one, it's just, I don't know what it is about this bed, but everything I put in this bed, because this was one of the first ones that I ever had, everything I put in this bed is always so healthy, so lush. They grow really big. But right now I have this kind of wire on there to hold up the frost cloth. I have some chives here, which I think I'm going to give them a little bit of a haircut so I can dry these. I have some chives, some giant Japanese mustard greens. Look at these, and they're like untouched practically. This one has like a little bitty hole, but they're practically untouched, and they're doing really good. If you have not gotten any greens in the ground right yet, you could definitely get some plant starts and go ahead and put them in. It is kind of late to try to start them from seed. I'm not saying you can't, but depending on where you live, I'm in zone 7A, and it gets warm here relatively fast. Now granted, we still have like a whole month, like well, about 26 days until our estimated last frost date. So if you wanted to start these, if you lived in zone 7, or you live somewhere with the later last frost date like me, you could probably get some starts and put them in. But I just wouldn't recommend trying to grow them from seed, just because it takes a little while, and by the time they got big enough for you to actually use, it'd be getting warm outside. So again, if you don't have any greens right now, you could definitely get some that have already been started, some starter plants from your local garden center, and get those in. Now there's also some early purple broccoli here, some chamomile, and there's another broccoli. I don't know where it went though. And then I also planted some mizuna, but it's so small you're not gonna be able to see it. But now I'm gonna show you guys. This is just my struggle bed. Like I'm just gonna show you. This bed, it's really nothing in it, and the things I did put in here, it's just not doing well. This bed is just not doing well. I had some mustard greens in here. This is broccoli that somehow ended up outside of the protective plastic over there, and so excuse me, I picked it up and I brought it over here and I planted it, and it's doing well. But the weather here in Tennessee is so flip-floppy. Like, it'll be really cold and then the next day it'll be like 70 degrees. And so I had one of them go to seed, which is just its basically ending its life cycle. You know, it kind of goes through its life cycle from seed to maturity to going back to seed. And so I had one of them go to seed. The other ones are just like scorched from the sun. Let me turn y'all around so you can see. See, if you look at your plants and you see this is frost. I don't think it's frost damage, but this could either be frost damage or sun scorch, okay? And since we've had some cold before, and I just keep doing this. This is what I keep doing, and letting them start over. As far as these mustard greens is what I've been doing. I've just been pulling off the damaged leaves and letting them come back because it does have a leaf in the middle. And I've been doing the same to these, but I don't want to take too much. These are some that were in one of the other beds I had, and they're making a comeback. This is red Ursula Kale, this and this as well. But they have a little bit of damage on them. Let me see if I can zoom in. They have a little bit of damage, but I've just been pulling those off. And yeah, so this bed is just kind of my struggle bed. I have a lot that I'm going to be putting in here. I had some calendula in here, but my cat dug it up. He's just been being bad, y'all. But I'm just gonna have to go back and replant a bunch of things. I had some radishes planted in here, he dug them up. I had some beets planted, he dug them up. And so I just can't keep anything in this bed. If anybody has any suggestions about how to keep cats out your bed, I'm open. Now I am very excited about this. This is the first asparagus that has come up so far. And this area is where I had asparagus last year, so I do anticipate the asparagus to come back. So I'm not really worried about some of the other things that are planted here, because the asparagus will come up and it'll be fine. I have been trying to fill the beds pretty intensely, just so I can have a lot so they could be full and I can utilize the space. Is that a worm? I guess. Ew, that's gross. Anyways, but this broccoli is doing pretty well, though. I will say this broccoli is doing pretty well, but it's also going to seed. So what I may end up doing is just pulling all this up, putting it in the compost, and just adding some compost that we had dumped here, and just kind of starting over and just resurfacing everything, and just starting fresh, instead of trying to keep these plants, because they're just not surviving or doing very well. Now this small little bed, this is one of my taller ones, and because it was taller, I wanted to put like my roots in here. There are some carrots coming up. Let me see if I can get to focus. Yeah, there are some carrots coming up, and they're doing really well. There are some beets coming up, but the last rain we had, I left the top off, and so some of the seeds got kind of washed. So what I'll probably have to do is just go back and reseed where some of the beets and things got washed away. That kind of thing is normal. You see, like I kind of wave my hand around and I'm starting to find beets and things that I had planted here. But whenever you're planting carrots and things like that, you want to make sure that you keep it moist. It was really hot the other day, and I think the combination of it being hot and then it raining so much just washed everything out. So I will be going back and replanting some beets. I had some early scarlet radishes, albino beets, Uzbek carrots, and black nebula carrots that I had planted here. And so I'll just have to reseed them, that's fine. But that's what's going on here. This is also my struggle bed. This is struggle bed 1.5. Then over here, the sun is coming out and staying out. There's not a lot of clouds anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull these off and keep them off, because it's supposed to be really nice tonight. It's only supposed to be about 60. So I'm just gonna leave these off. Now this bed is like the bed that came back from the dead, y'all. Like, Oh my goodness, this bed. This was my original struggle bed, okay? This was the original, because a lot of the stuff in here was like dying or dead. It was just not doing well. But now, look at her. Look at her. Y'all look. We got some Nero de Toscana, some Swiss chard, some more Neros, some beets back there. I think it's another, I thought it was another Swiss chard back there. It might be some calendula. This is like a, this was in a microgreen mix that I had planted in the other bed, and they had sprouted over there, so I brought them over here. They are doing absolutely great. Now onto this bed. Oops, I forgot I had a rock there. Let me move that. Now this bed, again, I had all these covered up because it was cold last night, and they had been looking so good. I just didn't want them to go downhill again. And so, yeah, so we have some red Ursula Kale here. And that's an itty bitty Japanese mustard green. I don't even know how this got here. I don't remember if I planted it here or what. But it's here and I'm excited about it. So it's staying. Have some, I mixed some purple tendril peas and some just regular sugar snap peas in here, and they're starting to come up and grab onto this trellis that I have here. So that's super cute. I'm gonna harvest a lot of these kales and put them in freezer bags, but I did want to wait till they kind of reestablish themselves. Whenever the snow came, they got really hit with the snow and the hard freezes that we had, and so I wanted to give these plants time to come back before I started cutting on them and eating on them, which I will do now that they've recovered. I also have some cabbage, another one of these that were in the other beds. That's where this one came from as well. I planted some cilantro, and these are starting to come up right here. Here's another cabbage, starting to look great. I think this is garlic. I'm pretty sure this is garlic. Yeah, this is garlic. Garlic here. I don't really remember when I planted this, but I'm just gonna leave it. It's doing great, leaving it alone. Also some beets. I sowed some beets over here. Also some Swiss chard and some calendula. I've been trying to figure out what to do about this cat situation, but just covering up the beds really works. And so I'm just gonna do that. I also have these wooden skewers that I wanted to try putting in to keep him from digging around. Now that I've showed you guys the garden, I'm gonna show you guys how huge these chicks have gotten over the last 2 weeks. We have our chicks in our office. It is not ideal because it does get kind of smelly in here, but we didn't have anywhere else that we could really put them. Because plus it was cold outside. Our weather is really unpredictable, like I was saying earlier. And we just felt like this was a good space because this is also where I keep my plants, and I'll show y'all that if y'all want to see. But y'all look. They have gotten so big. They've gotten so big. I'll show you guys. Let me see if I can. We put this metal on top of the plastic because the original 4 chicks that we had are big. They're large, and so they were jumping on top of the feeder and jumping out. And so we just took this mesh and put it on top and just holding it down with this piece of wood, and there's their light. So I'm gonna take it off so I can kind of show you how big they are. Move that over there. So you can kind of tell that one right there, come back here. That one right there was one of the original 4 that we got. And so these other smaller ones, those are the 10 hens that we got afterwards. Look how big they are, y'all. Let me see if I can get my phone to focus. There we go. They've gotten so big. And they're now, because they are getting bigger, I am gonna go ahead and kind of make them another brooder where they can run around and have more space. I am gonna do that in a separate video just so you can kind of see whatever I use. But yeah, this is them. And they're getting so big. So I'm thinking that the original 4 that we got were already 2 weeks old when we bought them. So now they're about 4 weeks old. That's why they're huge. They're huge. Look at that one. They're so big compared to the 2-week-old chicks. Because we got them on March 13th. We got the original 4 on March 13th and the others on March 16th. And so this is what they're looking like. They're doing really good. We have not lost any, so I'm really excited about that. And they're so cute. That is all for today's video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. As always, I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.